Alrighty, I think I am live. What is going on, everyone? I will give it a few moments here for everyone to come in. It has been a minute since my last stream. This feels weird. But awesome lighting here with the snow. Look at my face. I look like a ghost. Just incredible view out this way for me. As you can see, like as I put my hands up, it changes the color of my face because of the background. That's weird. It wants to make my face match the paneling. Check that out. Orange, wood grain, pale white. Look at that. I'm like a chameleon. All right. What is up, everyone in the chat? Noah, William, Vaughn, man, Sebastian, how's it going? Merry Christmas, everyone. There's 20 people in here, so it's good to see some of the notifications went out. Linda, Sand Digger, Dizzy Giraffe, what's going on? All right. So I'll hang out here in the chat for a bit. There's no plan. There is no plan. So if you came here thinking there's some sort of magical plan for today, you have been mistaken. Put on blue gloves and the screen majorly changes. I bet. Adventures in Dirt, Fishing, what's going on? Stack, Save. Luke, Bobby, Weasel. It's good to see everybody. I hope you're all having a good Christmas. When you don't live stream for a long time, it's weird talking to yourself, or at least it feels like you're talking to yourself again. So it's like I have to make a switch in my brain. It's like, okay, this isn't the weird ramblings inside my head. You got to put the filter on. All right. Copper Owl Coins. All right. So there is absolutely no plan for today, but, well, there's a little bit of a plan. And I'll explain. The title here is naturally, it's an exaggeration, but it's meant to be fun. So you saw the last video. I literally posted that the day I filmed it. And it was like 50 degrees. It was pretty dry out in the woods, and I was hiking, and then everything else happened. So I'm going to show you all a look, and then I'll show you all something else here in a second. So I'm going to try this real quick. We may as well. Hold on to your horses. Yeah. And it's flurrying right now. You can see that V-shaped tree there is a sweet gum. And it is a winter wonderland out there. We got all that snow in the span of really a few hours. Well, it's been slowly adding to it a little bit overnight flurrying, but most of that came down within the span of like 4 hours yesterday. And now it's just really cold out there. We went from like 51 degrees down to 12 last night, I believe. Or is that supposed to be tonight? I don't remember. That being said, I did a lot of grocery shopping yesterday and got all my running around done because it's supposed to be freezing cold the next few days. So I literally barricaded myself in, and I have no intentions of leaving my house until, like, I don't know, what's today? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm hunkered in, and here's something I'm going to do for today. I have no idea how long I'm going to stream. It could be 10, 15 minutes. It could be hours. I really have no idea. So let's see if we can show this up here. I've had some of these for quite a long time. Way back in the day, I was reselling some of these on eBay. ICG MS67, Ocean View, first day of issue. I picked a cool number out there. You can see 5234 out of 19,913. 2005P Ocean View nickel in a slab. Send this to the person that sends the highest super chat today. So if I get one super chat for 99 cents, I'm sending that to you. I just figured it'd be a cool thing to do. Get a close-up on it there. Yeah, the camera focuses in on that slab pretty good. All right. So anyhow, I'm going to catch up with the chat here in a minute and see what everybody's up to. And we'll just have a jolly old time. Shauna, Merry Christmas. Thanks for popping in. Broke a record here, 64 in Vermont. Wow. You mean the temperature was 64? Hopefully that's not 64 inches of snow. That's a lot of snow. No, it couldn't be 64 inches. You would be, that would be catastrophic. Rain, wind, Boston. Yeah, so apparently down toward the southern border of Tennessee, I talked to Bird Dog the other night, and he said that they only had a dusting there. He sent me a picture. So I'm here by the mountains, so we get a lot more snow for this part of the state. Actually, the most, where I'm at in Tennessee is where, I don't want to say I get the most snow, because if you go actually into the mountains, I'm kind of at the base, but if you go into the mountains, then all of a sudden the snowfall really amps up, and it can be completely all green down here, and I can see not too far from my house the snow-capped mountains. So I'm not like up in the mountains, but generally I'm closer to the mountains, so a lot more snow here. Do I snowboard? No. I don't snowboard. I'm not a fan of winter sports. I'm not a huge fan of the cold. I like it for a little while. But I don't like anything that involves things being strapped to my feet. So if I were to do a winter sport, I would be more into skiing, where you have more control over your legs. It's kind of like, I'm not good at skateboarding. Not that a skateboard is attached to your feet, but you put both feet on the board, kind of similar to a snowboard. But when I was growing up, I was pretty good at rollerblading. But yeah, no, I'm not into snowboarding. Definitely not my thing. Ever try ice fishing? I have. It was actually, didn't catch anything. And I was just using other people's holes, because I just did it with when I was real young. I went out and did it once with my dad and my brother. And it was freezing cold. And the wind chill was crazy, and I didn't last very long. And I just remember, like, that wasn't the funnest thing I've ever done. Thank you, William. Yes, I'm definitely planning on going back there when all of this snow melts. Alrighty. Bear with me here a moment. Good to see the notifications working at least decently well today. I've been having problems with YouTube sending the notifications out for my new videos. Cold in Iowa, says Alan. Yes, I bet it is. What's your favorite coin, and would you grade it? You mean like my favorite coin that I have? My favorite coins that I have are ones I found metal detecting. I mean, I really like the Morgan dollar that I found. I found two of them. One went back to the homeowner. Just finding a big chunk of silver is something that doesn't happen every day. And it's a cool date too, 1888. Sandra says, show us the Hobbit. next time when I go out in the woods. Have I ever considered magnet? I have magnet fished before. There's a couple videos on the channel. I magnet fished around an old railroad and got all sorts of railroad like couplers and spikes and different things. It's not as fun for me. I kind of get bored when I do it too much. And I found fishing lures and that sort of stuff. Non-Doug. I get asked this all the time. I don't know what my favorite coin really is. It probably wouldn't be an American coin, but if it was, at least the older ones, they're much better than the modern style coins. Yeah. Man, I don't know. There's a lot of really cool coins out there, though. It's too broad of a question to answer. I'd get hung up on it. Hey, Crazy Blade says hi from Oregon. But yeah, man, this is awesome with the snow out here in this office. I don't need any added lighting. I guess I'll show you all this for a minute while we're here. Maybe we'll open some coins today. I do got a box left, but I didn't title the video anything about a coin roll hunt. So if I do that, there'll be a lot of people that didn't come in that'll be bummed that they missed it. What's my all-time favorite find? I'll have to say the breastplate that I found is pretty high up there on the list. Just because of how unique it is. I like and the fact that I found it on my own property. It's a really cool find. I'd have to think if anything really tops that. But I really enjoyed finding that breastplate for sure. I find so much stuff over the years that I can't even remember everything. I really can't. But when I start digging through my bins and my storage and the good stuff I've saved, then it'll all start ringing a bell and coming back to me. I like finding items that are personalized, that are monogrammed and stuff like that. I really like that because I like finding any items that really tell a little bit more of a story. So especially like monogrammed silver, I love finding monogrammed silver and stuff like that. Copper Hal, yeah, I'm glad you liked the April Fool's video. That one created quite the stir, and that was a long while ago now. I'm not a hunter. I'm a treasure hunter, if so to speak. But no, I don't hunt for food. No sustenance hunting, at least yet. So anyway, I'll show you something here a second. This is my new Dwarf Bonsai, and I got this just a few days ago. I ordered it, and some of the leaves are falling off from the shock of it being shipped, and one of the small branches here broke off. But this is roughly about 3 years old. It's a dwarf tree. It shouldn't get much bigger, so I'm going to work on shaping and sculpting it over the years and hopefully not kill it. I'm kind of getting into this. It's like a new hobby of mine. I'm planning on getting some other miniature trees. They have a lot of character. There's just something about them. I prefer trees over flowers. And there's something about miniature trees that have really piqued my interest as of late. So I'm experimenting. I just got I actually ordered this from Lowe's. It's on the cheaper end. They run like $42. But I paid less than that for it because I get like the $20 off 100 coupons. I spend a lot of money at Lowe's because I'm working on the house and stuff. And I decided to buy this, and he seems to be doing okay. Yeah, that's my new Dwarf Bonsai. So I'm gonna probably buy one that's a little bit older than that too. One that has more exposed roots. There's a few different styles that I like that I'm gonna try to tinker with. But I just got that as sort of like a starter. And thank you, Sebastian. But yeah, it's not gonna, like I said, it's a dwarf tree. It's really not gonna get much bigger than. So as they age, if you look at some of the pictures online, they can be really incredible. So you can have a trunk that, you know, a tree can be, one of those trees can be several hundred years old, and the trunk never gets bigger, you know, than like that. And it's amazing. It's pretty fascinating. A lot of the different styles out there. I think the world record, a bonsai tree sold for like 1.3 million. There was one that survived the Hiroshima bombing. Probably shouldn't have said it on the video. Probably demonetized now. And just like ones that have been passed down in families for hundreds of years. And they just, it's funny because you can have a tree that's that big, but yet it can have, if you didn't notice, if you didn't have anything in the background to scale it and somebody showed it up close, you might think that it's like a gigantic tree outside. They really mimic the, you know, the larger trees. It's just a smaller version, and they're really cool. Naturally, the more aged they are, and the more of an aesthetic appeal, the more valuable they are. So I'd like to keep at least. I'm going to experiment with different ages because I'm kind of getting into this hobby now. I'm going to try to maybe plant a few of my own from clippings on ones that aren't like really too special. This tree here, the character really isn't that great. And what happens is a lot of these dwarf trees, the way these ones are started, the cheaper ones these are clippings off of other ones, and then they root. So as they grow in age, you can kind of see where they have been cut over the years. And this one has had a few bigger limbs trimmed back on it. But anyway, I'm going to be tinkering with it. I might buy a much more expensive one that's really aged, and kind of just to get a feel in the hobby. I kind of want things on a spectrum. It's pretty standard to get them when they're about 3 years old. So I want to get one that's significantly older than that. And then I'm just going to experiment with the hobby. Sean, I appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I didn't see a comment with that, but if you have any questions for me, let me know. So you're currently the highest. If nobody else super chats today, I'm going to be sending you this 2005P ICG MS67 Ocean View Nickel. And I'll show it up close for anyone who's just coming in the stream and hasn't seen it. Currency Collector said that plant will probably outlive us all. Yeah, if it's taken care of, it should. You know, I'm going to keep it inside. And these actually do very well indoors and not in... is this focusing on me? There we go. They do very well indoors, and they don't need a lot of sunlight. I think they do better if they get like morning sunlight. So the sun kind of comes from this side in the morning. In the summer, it's a little bit more this way. In the winter, it's a little more over here. But that's kind of indirect sunlight there. Never gets full sun, but yet you got it, you know, the light coming through the windows. So I think that's a perfect spot for it right there. And you could see it in the streams as well. I will say just to change topics briefly, the house is coming along really well. I've been doing a lot of work here and trying to make it really homey. I just haven't, you know, I haven't done the painting that I want to do in this room yet because it's quite frankly going to be a very large job to sand the paneling and do the painting over it. And I decided I probably won't fill the cracks of the paneling. I know some people do. I'll probably just let it look like a painted over panel look, and it'll be white. But there's a lot of nooks and crannies in here, and I have no idea if I'm going to do the work myself a little bit at a time or contract somebody out to do a lot of the painting in the house. A few of my ceilings need redone that have cracks. There's some, this is probably the worst room for like the stress cracks in the ceiling. So I don't know yet. The only work that I've contracted out so far since I've lived here is the plumbing. I needed the cast iron plumbing pulled out that was exposed downstairs. That was just too crusty and showing signs of like starting to leak and making a really nasty sludge. So apart from, you know, putting about almost $2,000 into the plumbing, I've done everything else myself so far. And it's looking good, but this room hasn't, you know, really changed a whole lot. So hey, Sarah. Hey, Carol. Oh, you're using your speak to text. There you go. I need a samurai sword to go on the wall with it. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm going to do something cool. The way that they send these. So first of all, I've learned that people who are really trained in sculpting these bonsais that have like done it for some people generations. But anyway, obviously not each person. Haha. So the way they have that ceramic cut into 2 sections, you can fill the side of it with water so it reflects the tree more. Enhances the look of it. Also, the dwarf trees, most people train them and they wrap wire around them. Now, this one's wired into the base, but there's no wire on the actual branches. But people wire them so that they grow the way they want them to. Naturally, if you want to sculpt the tree, you have to coax it to go in the direction you want it to go. But the best older bonsais, people try to train them to grow sort of outward rather than up, and they have a much better aesthetic appeal over the years. So it's like really fascinating. I've kind of like gotten addicted to watching YouTube videos on some of the professionals taking the larger dwarf trees that have been aged for a decade or two, and I mean it's a process. It really is a process, and I get kind of nervous when I'm working on the stuff. It's like, oh, I don't want to mess it up, or you're going to do something that you regret, but I'm kind of really getting into it, so we'll see where it goes. I've actually thrown around the idea of creating just a low-key YouTube channel dedicated to dwarf trees. If anybody's interested in that, just let me know. There are a lot of people that watch those type of videos, like gardening on trees and different stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe my JD Uncensored channel, I deleted all my videos on there. I wanted it to be kind of a clean slate. So maybe I'll rename that channel and start out from there. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts if anybody would be interested in me doing just a low-key tree, and I can show like updates on it when I get new plants, and as I grow in my ability, give tips and tricks. And of course, I'm sure people will find the videos that can help me out too. So I'm thinking about getting into that community a little bit, and probably not post a video very frequently, but just every once in a while. But anyway, what I think I'm going to do with that ceramic is, instead of putting water in the side of it, because I kind of move it to water it sometimes, and it may not always stay in that specific spot. But I think what I'm going to do is I might put like white rocks in the side of it to kind of contrast it, and then maybe decorate the side of the bowl, put like a little dude with a fishing rod in there or something sitting under the tree. Yeah, you can do this with regular trees in your garden, shape them, that is. Yeah, absolutely. I've always I've always had a fascination for trees, and people have probably picked up on that in my videos. I just love finding old trees, like out in the woods, and I've actually always wanted to get into. I love pruning trees. I love shaping them, not in any dramatic way, but like coaxing them to go in a different direction. But I like shaping them and stuff like that. So I'm really happy for where I lived. I've had the experience. I've lived a lot of different places that have had character. So I've had an opportunity to have some really awesome trees. One of the hardest things to do was move away from my little property that I lived in back in 2013/14 on the channel. And I had two gigantic catalpa trees in my yard. One was like a border between mine and the neighbors, but the trunk on this thing was so big and wide, and it grew straight up. It was the most magnificent tree, and I had the opportunity of it being in my side yard. It was beautiful. So I don't have any of those here where I live now, but I'm thankful that I have my first very large, mature, well, not very large comparison to like ones you see around old houses, but I have a magnolia tree in my front yard here, and I'm super excited. I spent quite a lot of time shaping the tree, and it looks really good. I'll show that all to you in a future. There's a young weeping willow in the front. It doesn't really make sense why that was planted there. I'll get to the super chat in a second there. So I have a small weeping willow that probably was been planted not many years ago by like the previous owners. I have the magnolia tree, which I don't know how old it is. At least probably a few decades old. Could it have been planted around the time this house was built in 1959? I don't know if it's quite that old. it's hard to say. I don't know how to judge the age in those by just looking at the circumference. I'll have to look into that. So I've got a little weeping willow, which I won't let get big because it's in my front yard and it gets in the way of mowing, but I'm going to leave it there. I'll just keep it really trimmed back. I got a magnolia. I got a sweet gum tree in the back, which is pretty cool, except unless you're in your bare feet, that's horrible. And then I got a gigantic, awesome maple behind my garage. So I've got quite a variety, and I've got some other various trees as well. Doug Harding with a 777 super chat. Merry Christmas, JD. I appreciate that, Doug. And with a 777 super chat, you're the highest one so far. So if I end the stream and nobody super chats higher, you're going to get that MS67 Ocean View nickel by ICG. And I will point out, when I bought these in bulk in the past, and I was kind of reselling them on eBay. I saved some of them. I've literally had these for probably about 10 years. So I've been holding them for a while. I don't know how reputable of a grading company ICG is. It's definitely not one of the big ones. So take that as a grain of salt. But you know, they're really cool slabbed coins, and one's getting a new home today. My mom lived in Japan teaching English for 7 years. The Sword Museum, awesome. Yeah, I bet that is awesome. Vaughnman said, "How's your parents doing?" They're doing well. My dad has been healing up quite well. He went through a little rough patch for a while after he came home, but everything's good now. The surgery went really well, and actually the recovery after he got over the kind of the rough patch, it went better than expected. So he's doing well, and my mom's doing well too. So I appreciate you asking. I have a Norfolk Island pine I've had for a few years. It's grown like from a foot tall to about as tall as I am. Wow, that's awesome. I don't know if you can see it from here. My magnolia is right behind this window here. I don't know if you probably won't be able to see it, you know, if I open all that up. We'll do that another time. But I'll show you. I put a lot of work into this yard is a lot of maintenance. There's a lot to take care of, but it's really pretty, especially kind of in the late spring. I'll show it to everyone when everything's in full bloom. Got a lot of flowers and perennials and different stuff around the hillside that I didn't plant. It's all stuff that's been here by the previous owners. This property had a lot of attention over the years, and definitely a bit of work to keep it going. But I absolutely love living here. I was looking for a place that fit my personality for a long time and had ample space for me to roam. I work for myself, so I like to have a lot of space, and my home kind of needs to feel like a vacation spot rather than feeling like clustered in. And as much as I loved the farmhouse and like the aesthetic of the property, it was not suitable for like my lifestyle and the space, and I felt a little cramped in there. And not cramped, it wasn't suitable for what I did. I made my office really nice for like the stuff I did for YouTube, but it just wasn't the right space and place for me. So I really, really, really love it where I'm at here now. Always prune stuff wider at the bottom and narrow at top. Yep, I've pruned a lot of trees over the years. I've learned as I went. So I'm getting better at knowing how to prune trees properly, and actually a lot goes into when, like for different trees and plants and different stuff like that. That's like learning how to do it. Japanese maples in your yard would be fun too. Great color and fun shape. Yeah, that would be cool. There's I have my neighbor's got like a small bamboo forest in his backyard. He absolutely hates it. He was going to have it all. He was literally going to have a contractor come in and dig it all out. And that would kind of make me sad, but it got so big. It's actually like growing into the side of my maple tree. And there's another big tree that's kind of leaning toward it. It's kind of over this way. I was thinking about cutting some of the bamboo down and trying to cure it and do some stuff with it. I know bamboo is extremely useful, and a lot of people actually buy it. So I've literally got a healthy bamboo forest in my neighbor's yard, and he said I can take as much of it as I want. So Maybe I might cure some of that bamboo and try to make something out of it. I have no idea. I'm not real handy with as far as like building things, but I could figure something out. Do you ever hunt for natural bonsai? I haven't done that, so I'm not really too familiar with it. Merry Christmas to you, Luke. To Luke, bye. Yes, Sandra, bamboo does grow huge. One of the largest stalks that was actually kind of weird. It came out further from the other patch, which is maybe why it grew bigger. It wasn't like in the middle. I don't know, but it was literally, I mean, it was literally that big around, and it was probably, you know, three times my height. Bamboo is extremely invasive. Somebody planted a little, I don't know what you would call it, but like, not a bulb wouldn't be the right word for bamboo. It could be. But there was like a kind of a patch of it, like in a circle that was right on the side of my garage. And I had to painstakingly dig it all out. It started to grow under my garage. And I know it can break up foundations. It started to grow under my garage. So I had to dig like a foot deep trench and pull out all of the roots, because they grow in lines like this. And then the shoots jump straight out. So as soon as you see a little bamboo plant like kind of poke out of the ground, you know there's a lot more of it. And so I dug like a foot deep by my garage to make sure I pulled it all out of there, pulled out that one section where it was originally planted and expanded from. It literally grew up through the siding of my garage. It went up under the corner piece of the siding, grew up, and there was a little crack in the siding, and it grew out the siding. So like kind of level, I don't know, it was probably about a level with about my height. I went out there the one day, and there was literally bamboo leaves sticking out of the vinyl of my garage, and I was like, wow. So yeah, bamboo is very invasive. You don't want to plant it next to a structure or anything like that. It is very hard to kill. Like I said, like it didn't look great. It was kind of yellowish in color because it didn't get any sun, but it literally lived. It grew up through my vinyl siding and poked out the top. So I literally went down to the bottom of it and pulled it out the bottom in one gigantic piece that had grown up through my siding. Raymond Stone says, how tall are you, John? I am 5'10" and a half. I am too short to be 5'11" and too tall to be 5'10". At least I haven't officially been measured for a very long time, but like 5'10" and a half. Oh, wait, I always put it on like my driver's license. All my papers is 5'11". Because, of course, who's going to round down, right? You always got to round up. Hey, Johnny, Merry Christmas to you, too. You can kill bamboo if you use a good hardy herbicide. Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much kill, anything if you're determined. Currency collector, I just showed in the beginning of this stream, we got about 5 inches of snow here that came in since yesterday, and it is freezing. It's like 19 degrees right now, and it's going to be getting a lot colder overnight. It's not supposed to get warmer than 20 degrees today. So we're in the teens, upper teens right now, and it is definitely cold out there. Oh yeah, Detector Mo said, I know it's hard to dig around bamboo, thick roots. I've done it before. Some people that have had bamboo planted around old houses, and it's trying to cut that stuff with a foot shovel is like trying to go through steel. The best yard I've ever metal detected in, where I found, well, there roughly about 300 old coins came out of the yard. They were littered everywhere. There was bamboo in the back. Like, it wasn't a lot, but there was like maybe a full yard between the fence, and it protruded out from the yard. And I found coins the whole way up into the bamboo. And I had to use my hand digger and dig around the roots and try to get up under it to pop like the wheat pennies out and stuff. And I found a silver close to the bamboo. So I literally took my metal detector and tried to weave it in through the bamboo, and then just painstakingly with my little hand digger weave through all the roots to try to pop the coins out. Bamboo is not easy to metal detect around. Hey, Nick, what's going on? It is warm in Toronto, Canada today. Yeah, that's weird. Sometimes the weather patterns could be weird, but the way the cold front hit here, the weather, the temperature just plummeted. Funny, my initials are also JD. It's actually pretty common initials. I see a lot of people with JD. I can't remember if I filmed it before, but I was out treasure hunting, and I saw one time a JD's Variety Shop, which was funny because it almost sounded exactly like my channel. And then there was a JD's, some kind of like local sports bar, like JD's, I don't know, bar and grill or something. I've seen a couple things in my travels that took my initials, but the JD's Variety Store, I did a double take on that one. Last year, my city got down to minus 48 degrees Celsius. This guy here only operates in Fahrenheit. I tried to study the conversion to Celsius, but I always forget. So you're going to have to enlighten me to about how cold that is in Fahrenheit. Because I don't use that Celsius. You can do a bamboo bonsai. I didn't know you could do that. I'll have to give it a try. Apparently, these dwarf jades, you can take the trimmings off of them and plant. You can make like super miniature ones, and they're supposed to take. If you just cut off a decent sized branch and and pot it, it should grow. Not very big because it's already a dwarf, but I mean it may be fully mature and never get bigger than like 1.5 inches. But you can plant the trimmings on these. Yes, I'm actually really happy it snowed because it just brightens everything up. The view I have from here is phenomenal in the winter. I'm like kind of like king of the hill up here. And like literally where I have my computer set, like I can look up and I have the view. So this is the perfect setting. I will say though, got my slippers on because apart from the downstairs, one area is like not heated with the HVAC, so it's cold down there. Which weird. I lost my train of thought because the HVAC stopped. But this is the coldest room in the house because you got to figure it's just all windows, and this is an addition. So this room is the most challenged on staying warm. So when I sit here and do stuff on the computer over the winter, I definitely got to have slippers on. Otherwise, I have a carpet here, but even with the carpet, the floor is really cold. So if I stuck my feet on that tile right there, man, my feet would probably get stuck. I mean, this floor gets cold in here, but it's great for the lighting. Yes, aloe vera plants are very cool. I'm only familiar with them because our families kind of had them growing up. My mom was into, which my mom just popped in now. What timing? Welcome. I was just talking about how we had aloe vera plants growing up, and it's really good for like if you ever get a burn, you break it off and you rub it on your burn. It's supposed to be really good for that. I don't have one now, but I would like to get an aloe vera too. I've had the aloe vera drinks before. I've never made my own. But has anybody here ever bought one of those aloe vera drinks in a bottle that has like some of the flesh in it? I think it's pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, a lot of those drinks, they add like a ton of sugar to them. So it kind of takes away from the good idea behind it. But there are certain brands that don't have a lot of added sugar, and I think they taste pretty good. Of course, they flavor them, but aloe vera plants are awesome. Man, I really don't like the snow. I'm from northern Alberta, so we get lots here. I'm sure you do. I like snow for a little while, but then after a while, I'm like, yeah, it's time to go away. But maybe I'm thinking here, it's kind of weird. The weather here is really bizarre. We deal with, in Tennessee, we actually have a lot more problems with ice because the temperature constantly in the winter goes below and above freezing. So we have a lot more problems with ice here than a lot of areas in the country because we get this kind of like freeze and thaw cycle that can get vicious sometimes. The last few years haven't been bad. But we just missed it here about a week and a half ago. There was an ice storm up in the mountains, but we had just missed it kind of where I'm at it because it was just warm enough so that the ice didn't form here. But I completely forget what I was going to say now. Getting off topic. I was going to talk about some sort of plant. I don't remember where I was going with it now. Changing topics. Thank you, Gary. Same to you. Hey, more people are rolling in. Pretty cool. We got 74 people in here now. Not bad for Christmas. I hope you're all doing well. So yeah, I'm hunkered in by myself for Christmas today, but my parents are up at the farmhouse and we spend a lot of time together. So it's like Christmas for us is not like some huge event. So I mean, we don't really treat the day any differently. So it's not like, oh, poor JD, here he is alone in his house on Christmas. It's not like that. It's all good. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your Christmas. I'm just enjoying the snow out here. We got a snowy Christmas. Hey, what more could you ask for? But anyway, that's what I was saying. So not tomorrow, but the day after, it's supposed to go up to like 50 degrees, so a lot of melt pretty quick. So I could maybe do a vlog in the woods before it melts when it's not like super cold out. That would be really fun. I love vlogging when it's snowy out. I really love doing that. So I could go up there. So for anyone who watched the last video, I'm going to do a follow up on it. It definitely wasn't a home site, and a lot of you viewers pointed out some very I don't want to say obvious things, but some good insights, and it all adds up. So that place that I found in the woods was definitely a moonshine operation, which is where all the mason jars come from. And that explains the scorched soil too, because of the high high heating process, which is why I found that patch, that kind of rectangular patch of darkened soil. It wasn't a house, which makes sense too. When I metal detected over it, you'd expect if there was a house there, there would have been a lot of nails and iron and maybe tin from the roof. There were signals up there, but not as many as you would think for like a home site that came down. And of course, it's on public property, so I thought over the years maybe they moved some of the building materials out if it was a home to like clear it out, so like people didn't get hurt or something. But it makes no sense why somebody pointed out like where's the chimney? Like there's no remnants of a chimney or anything. There's no brick, so it's definitely not a home site. But from the stuff that I found, I'm pretty sure, and this was common in Tennessee, so I'm pretty sure it was a Prohibition era operation, because the button I found dates roughly to probably around 1920-ish. That piece of jewelry, or it could have came off of a box, but whatever it was, that could be about 100 years old. So I'm pretty sure it was an illegal Prohibition era moonshining operation. So, in the hills in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, they wouldn't have had, many worries about being caught. So their operations were kind of deep in the woods, and that's where some water comes down there. It would have been the perfect place for a moonshining operation. So I hope I can find their stash of cash out there. We'll see. I doubt it. I really only detected out there for like 45 minutes in that video. So it's kind of cool. It's not every day you find an old moonshining operation out in the woods. I knew there used to be something there. I just thought it was a home. It wasn't on my radar thinking, because I've never been super familiar with that process. I did watch a short documentary once years ago on like making moonshine. It was like one of those interesting ones on YouTube that popped up, and I watched it real quick. But I never knew much about the process, but it definitely was. There's no doubt about it. Now it's just how old, between the age of the mason jars and the button I found was definitely an overalls button. I know that now. A few people commented. They're pretty common in rural Tennessee. So you figure, up there with your overalls on, making moonshine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Prohibition era. There's nothing to tell me that it's older, like 1800s, and there's nothing to tell me that it's like, closer to World War II. So, yep, I'm pretty much thinking it was a whole illegal gig out there when it was outlawed. Did you hear about the exploding RV in Nashville? I didn't. I'll have to look it up. You'll have to enlighten me in the chat. JD, you like it cold in your house? You got a hoodie, jacket on, a hat. Yeah, I'm kind of strange when it comes to that. I don't like extreme changes in temperature. Like in the winter, I keep my house cooler. In the summer, I keep it warmer, because I don't like a dramatic difference between inside and outside. And to be honest, I've never, my my heat set so it'll warm it up warmer than what I set it on. If I set my heat on 65, by the time it's done running, it could even be as high as 68 in here. Since it's getting, because the next 2 days are probably the coldest 2 days we might even get this winter. And my HVAC system, this is my first winter here, so I didn't want it to be taxed really hard. I wanted to see how it runs like when it got this cold. So I literally turned it down to 62 last night because I just didn't want to run as hard, and I wanted to see how well it did. And it ran pretty smooth with me having it set on 62. It was like an experiment, and I turned it up a few degrees now. But like I get used to it, you know. But I pretty much, my standard setting on it, honestly, I don't, it gets too, to me, it gets too hot in here if I have it set over like 66. I usually have it on 65, which is even colder than last year. When I used it in the farmhouse, I almost always had it on 68. So I don't know what the deal is, but I literally have it set on like 63 right now. I think I turned it up a degree. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, this room actually stays pretty cool, but this main part of the house here actually stays quite warm. Quite warm. But I would actually prefer putting more clothes on than making it really hot in here. I don't know. It's probably just me. But if somebody super chats $50, I'll take my shirt off and put shorts on, and I'll run outside in the snow like an idiot. I probably shouldn't have said that. There's always somebody willing to take me up on my crazy, like that stream where everybody was paying me to eat spicy foods. Yeah, it's really cold out there today. Why did I move to Tennessee? I moved here in 2013. I just really massively needed a life change, and I knew I didn't want to live in my hometown forever, and I didn't have any better ideas. No state taxes was a big plus because I worked for myself. I wanted to go somewhere warmer. Pretty much I narrowed it down. I was like, I'm going to go to Hawaii or Tennessee, and Hawaii didn't make any sense for transportation reasons, and I ended up in Tennessee. Put everything in my vehicle that I could fit. Bought a house in the ghetto for like 18 grand. I have some pretty crazy stories, and I packed up and left my hometown, and I never looked back. Julie said I hate more clothes. I prefer summer. I prefer not wearing all of this. But when I'm in the house in the winter, for some reason, to me, it's more comfortable to put on more clothes than it is to like wear shorts and a shirt and like turn the heat up to like 74. I don't know. I guess it's all just down to personal opinion. Sandra says 63 is better than none. That is very true. Yeah, because it's 19 out there. I'd much prefer 63 than 19. If it was 19, I'd be wrapped up in a big bubble of blankets, and you'd only be able to see my eyeballs on the stream. That would be cold. Yes, with that hoodie, I'm still in the hood. Yes, I'm very thankful that I don't live in a very high crime area anymore. It's just nice to be able to not hear gunshots at night and hit the deck. That happened to me once. That was a story. They taped my mailbox with crime scene tape. That was sort of like the barrier. I just heard pop, 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 and I hit the deck because I was on my computer, which is in the front room by a big window. All right. So yeah, it's still 77 people in here. Awesome. Wow, I've been here for almost an hour already. So as for the virus, Tennessee is the worst area in the country right now per capita. So I'm trying not to go a lot of places in public. I had to go into Walmart yesterday to stock up on food. I had to pick up some stuff at Home Depot, but they brought it out to the car. And so I didn't even have to go in. But literally now, since the start of the pandemic, probably between 1 in 10 and like 1 in 13 of everybody in the state of Tennessee has had or has the coronavirus, and that is very prevalent. So not only is it winter here and I'm barricaded in the house, but I'm trying not to do a lot of like shopping in crowded areas either. I live pretty close to a Walmart, and I can go. They're open till 11 o'clock now. I can go at like 10 o'clock at night when there's like nobody in there. I live by one that's probably the least busy Walmart I've ever lived by. So I'm able to get in there at night when there's like nobody in there, and that's when I do my shopping. So yeah, good time to be shooting the videos in the woods like I am now, because it's just everywhere right now. Like I expect like eventually I'll probably get it. But I've been spending a lot of time with my parents right now, and I don't want to give it to them. So I'm sort of in semi-quarantine mode. You hear that about every state. I think we might be lied to. No, it's like ebb and flow everywhere. It wasn't bad here for a long time, but then like the states around us, like Georgia, North Carolina, and like a lot of the states around, it got really bad like a month or two ago. And Tennessee is like a main hub for like traveling in through a lot of other states in the area I live in. I live off like not too far from the main interstate like that comes through here. So I knew it was eventually going to pop. I mean, it's definitely a real thing, but I don't follow the politics of it. Of course, the never let a good crisis go to waste, and it's to me, it's a condition of people wanting to use everything for their own agendas. It's just very heightened with this virus. People have used it for their own agendas. Unfortunately, on both sides of the political spectrum, I think it's very toxic in the United States. The polarization. I think politics in this country is in the gutter, and I only talk about it so as much as it involves principle. But I think getting into a Republican versus Democrat debate is just a bottomless pit that goes absolutely nowhere. Like a lot of people know that my views are extremely conservative, but I would never register as a Republican. I mean, there's corruption all across the board. But yeah, I mean, who knows with the numbers? I mean, obviously the virus is here and it's prevalent. And coming over from Europe, there was one of the mutations. I study the virology. I'm kind of into that now. But one of the mutations are common with viruses, so it's not meant to be this big scary thing. But one of the mutations, seemingly that potentially came from Europe, made the virus more transmissible, not more severe. Key difference there. So that could have something to do with it starting to pick up other places in the world. I expected this winter to be horrible because in Tennessee, the general attitude is just like live life like nothing's going wrong or nothing's happening. So of course I knew the spread here was going to be bad, especially I knew when the kids went back to school, it started all over again. When Thanksgiving came, I knew it was going to start all over again. And now we're in the time of year where people's vitamin D levels are extremely depleted. There's been a lot of studies to show how sufficient vitamin D levels are very key in immune system function, and specifically with this virus. I supplement vitamin D. Naturally, I'm usually low in it, so I have to supplement anyway. And I knew it was going to get bad here. Especially in the winter, like this time, a lot of people gathering together in close quarters with compromised immunity, and getting into when the flu season is. I've expected it to be bad even over the summer. I was thinking, man, I bet this winter is going to be pretty grim. And so while everybody's out spreading it around and not having a care in the world, I figured I would stay pretty low key this winter until it calms down a bit. Yes, zinc is good too. That's probably something I'm going to probably looking to start supplementing. I had blood work done not too long ago, and my vitamin D levels have always been on the low end of normal, so I've been hitting that heavy. But everything else on my blood work was pretty good. I didn't have a real extensive test done though. I went through LabCorp, like it was an independent thing. Direct your energies to corporations corrupting the politicians. But of course, there's all individuals like, for politicians obviously take bribes and have agendas. So I mean, we could focus our energy on anyone who's an immoral person. I mean, in my worldview is we all are have a propensity toward immorality to begin with, but obviously that's something that's best based on a spectrum. But yeah, politics is. And we'll just briefly hit on it real quick. Like I look at things the way the government continues to keep getting bloated through all sorts of different things, like the tax revenue and different stuff, and just consolidating power. Especially with this virus now, where they've been having the lockdowns everywhere, there's more of a shakedown happening. One of the things this virus did is it's taking a lot of the small businesses, sort of the hearts of the community, like people putting their whole entire life into a localized concept. They're going out of business because they're being told it's illegal to stay open. And sometimes they just have less business to begin with, even if they don't have to close. So a lot of the local business out, and the corporations are taking that business away, like just all the other bigger businesses, like the Walmarts, the Amazons, all the big companies like that. So, are we eventually going to get to a place where we're in this sort of very in this future where everything's going to just be this cold corporate world? It's like I already noticed, like when I started to travel a lot, I just realized, you realize how there's like sort of like there's like a McDonald's in every little town across the country almost, even, or like a place where no other business can make it because it's so depressed. Like even these tiny little towns that I've metal detected in, and you're thinking like there's certain towns it's cities you can go into now that are really big, and there's certain areas where you drive through them and it's nothing but corporations. There's like no local businesses. It's all fast food chains, a Walmart, and like a Lowe's, like a hardware store, and there's no character. It's just these corporate cities being produced all over the place. So I'm thinking this virus is going to make that situation worse. Anyway, that was enough of a ramble. We'll get back to lighter topics. But it's just not the effect of the virus. It's the effect of the policy in telling people that there's an invisible enemy out there, and therefore you have to stop, you have to shut down because you might give it to somebody else. And yeah, I'm pretty much a diehard American when it comes to like conservative views. I mean, I believe I believe people have a right to die. If everybody wants to go out and shop and have family gatherings and stuff, they should have a right to do that. If you're afraid about getting it, you don't have to leave your house. Now, you could say, are public schools a different situation? Not only is the public schooling system a mess and not somewhere I would ever send kids to personally. I mean, should they be able to mandate things in settings that are like in order to participate? That's a long topic. Of course, private corporations, I think they should be able to do whatever they want. If they want to say you can't come in our store if you can't wear a mask, I think they have the right to say that. You have the choice of whether you go in or not. Like I'm really hardcore in that area. I've even always been against controlling things for like price gouging. Like if somebody has something that everybody else needs, you should be allowed to increase the price. So like in that aspect, I hate any market manipulation. We just live in a world where everything is controlled to some extent. Yes, cold and flu are all strains of the coronavirus. Yeah. Coronaviruses are constantly mutating. So when people hear mutation, a lot of people that kind of scares them. But I mean, it's constantly happening, constantly mutating. But thankfully, this virus, it's not. I don't want to say it's not. It's not as bad as it could be. Let's just put it that way. So it seems like this is going to have more long-term effects than anything more than the flu with various things that aren't going to be known for quite a long time. All right. So for anybody just coming in now, for the highest super chat today, I'm giving away this ICG MS67 Ocean View nickel. You can see the number on it there. 2005p. And just figured we'd do something fun today. The highest super chat is $7.77. And I'm probably not going to be on here too much longer. But Doug Harding is going to get that if nobody else sends a super chat higher than $7.77. And whoever gets this will exchange information. You'll see in the description, jdsvarietychannel@gmail.com. You'll have to send me a message with your details, whoever it is at the end, and then I will ship this out on Monday. Amy, no worries. Nobody has to send a super chat. This is all just good and fun here, so I don't look at anybody less for not sending a super chat. Absolutely not. How's my back doing, says Nick. Good. Now that you mentioned it, I probably should stretch. But all right. I mean, from some of my issues, I pretty much have some arthritis, but I get through it. It's manageable. My neck and back are doing okay. Let's see, JD Manitoulin, did I say that right? Island, Ontario, Canada is so beautiful. They don't have fast food chains, and it's all nature. That sounds awesome. There are obviously a lot of towns and cities out there that still have a lot of really amazing charm and character. I just noticed that in the modern world, it's kind of been I don't know if I'd say a slow decline, but at least substantial enough to be noticeable, where you see a lot of the creativity being sort of removed from society. And I believe there's a lot of reasons for that. We're not going to get into a philosophical discussion right now. But of course, a lot of it comes down to government policy and all sorts of stuff like that. Regulations are one of the largest things that inhibit people from competing with the larger corporations that have armies of lawyers. A lot of people that don't know that about me. I would have expanded my business a long time ago if there weren't so many regulations. I would actually have at least 1 or 2 employees now, most likely. But just with all the rules and regulations and red tape, it just never made sense. It would just been more of a headache. The tax paperwork is already a headache enough. So I don't have employees because I don't like to be micromanaged and told what to do. So it's not worth it. It's really not worth it in my case. So yeah, some people make a living by telling other people what to do. And that's how I view most of politics. Not everyone, not all the time, but just generally, I look at politics having turned into like getting paid to tell other people what they can and cannot do. And of course, I'm not an anarchist. I believe in law and order and all of that stuff. There has to be a fine balance, but government was never meant to be what it is today, and it's just the pattern that happens all over the place. Government just wants to exist for the sake of existing, so there's interest to just keep it the way it is. It's in a lot of people's best interest that nothing changes, unfortunately. Being your own boss is the best, JD. I'm also a cartoon caricature artist, and it's talent that puts a smile on people's faces. That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've kind of always. It's why I don't think I could always ever fully quit YouTube. It's like even if I don't post a lot of videos, once in a while I just like to post a video because it's just a lot of people enjoy them and you have the interaction there, and it makes me happy when other people's days are brightened up too. So that's definitely cool. All right. So what else could we talk about? Let's see. Maybe I'll run a few ideas past everyone here. Maybe we'll think about that a minute. What's coming up after the moonshine place? I don't know. I really don't know. Or maybe, yeah, I have a few ideas floating around. I'm not doing a lot of extensive travel right now, so I've been doing some local stuff. Let me show something here a second. I'll be back. So this is a drone that I picked up that I wanted to check out. It's one of the, I guess, decent for the price, I would say, smaller drones. It's called the Shadow X. I was going to plan on doing a video with some footage from the drone mixed in with like a metal detecting video. You can see the controller in that. So I'm kind of excited to give this a shot. That would be cool if I could get some shots of the snow here. I was thinking about trying to do that in a video as well. Just something to spice things up a little bit. Got it in a little case there. So that's one of the things that eventually I will do something with on the channel a little bit, having some drone shots in it. But as far as the treasure hunting, I just try to find some interesting places to metal detect, most likely. I'm going to get a drink a second. Drinking a muscle milk today. They make those things so sweet. I have like half of it filled with water. I don't like stuff that's like incredibly sweet. Hey Ryan, what's going on? Merry Christmas to you as well. It would be so cool to get a drone that detects any disturbances in the soil. That would be cool. Doug said we lost how to self-govern for the most part. Very, very good point. A lot of things come down to the responsibility of the individual, and quite frankly, being independent thinkers, creative thinkers, and knowing how to maintain a society has not at large been passed down to the current generations that are coming about. And I try not to be very grim in my outlook, but I think America is headed for some very turbulent time over the next many years. I think I think you summed it up very short. A very long and complex topic. I think you summed it up very well. Losing the ability to self-govern. Once everybody shucks the responsibility and says, somebody else will fix my problems, this politician will fix all my problems, that person will fix my problems, this company will fix my problems. You know, every time I have a problem, I'll just pick up the phone, somebody else's problem. At that point, you've already, what would I say? You have already outsourced your future You've already outsourced your future. At that point, we want to be rolled over. We want lords and masters over us if we don't want to do things with our own hands. And I think that's where a lot of society is at today. We want people to roll over us because it's easier. Lloyd Davison, $20 super chat. I really appreciate that, Lloyd. So that is by far the highest super chat today. So if you're the highest super chat before this stream ends, oh, look at that. You can see the trees in the background there. This Ocean View nickel slabbed MS67 is going to be yours. Just showing it again for anybody that's just coming in. Decided to do something fun today and send that to the highest super chatter. I want to do that on every stream, just for fun, because every stream that I have, people send super chats, so I want to give something back too. So I'm going to take a cool item that I have found or collected, something probably coin related most of the time over the years. And every time I do a live stream, I want to give something away to someone. And rather than using a random generator, I don't like getting into all that. It's easier for me to say, just like the person who sends the highest super chat the day that I stream will get something cool. So thank you, Lloyd. I really appreciate the super chat. Michael said, JD, how about in the new year you get Rob together and do a detecting outing? So here's where I'm at right now. My plans have been very up in the air with as far as my future is concerned. I don't do as much treasure hunting now because of some of the issues that I have, some of my neck and spinal issues, kind of more so muscular. I don't want to say something's wrong with my spine, but it's kind of all connected, but it's more muscular. I just can't do as much as I used to do. So I was debating, what I wanted to do for my future. And I'm cool with doing periodic treasure hunting right now, and sometimes really getting into the zone. I've kind of gotten into a groove with knowing how to take care of my body, take time off, know when I need to quit, when I need to, when I'm cool and I need to do something. And so I've gotten my life in order, really in order over the last this year. I've just, so much has happened. I moved into this new place and I got so many things in order, and I'm getting to a point now where once we start getting into the new year, I'm not there yet, but once we start getting into the new year, I will be able to do more traveling. And it's really been kind of big on my heart to want to meet up with some of the YouTubers and other people that I have met online over the years. And whether it's just meeting up with them or shooting the video with them, it's something I really want to do in 2021. I want to focus more on the connections rather than just strictly on me solo going out or doing a dig, or with one of my local buddies or something like that. So I would love to meet up with Rob and many other people in 2021. So when I get to the point where I'm ready to, I'm a very one-track mind person. I have one goal in mind at a time. I do one thing really well when I put my mind to it. So treasure hunting is one of those things where when I turn on that switch, when I go in that zone, I really go in that zone. So that's why my channel has long periods of times where not a lot's happening, and then you'll just get a lot of exciting stuff. I'm a very one-track mind person. I know it's more typical for guys, but I'm a very one-track mind person. And pretty soon I want to go into a little bit of a burst where I'm back into that. So we'll see where it leads. But I would love to meet up with Rob and many other people in 2021. So when I'm ready, I'll be sending out the word to everyone that I want to meet up with, and so it won't be a secret. It'll be out there. Linda, I understand. Yeah, it's all stems from my injury in 2017, but I get really stiff. It's my trunk. For me, it's rotating. That right there, the arthritis in the center of my spine is really bad. I can't rotate my trunk very well, and I can't put my neck back very far, all to do with my old injury. Yeah, it's tricky, but hey, I always say, and until our last breath, we all have purpose. So try to keep the positive attitude. Not always easy, but hey, What can we do? Tim, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. I just got that one. I'm kind of getting into the whole dwarf tree thing. I'm kind of excited about it. So that's a jade a dwarf, and I just got it recently. I don't have any others right now, but I'm looking into expanding and making a hobby out of that. I might even make a little bit of a channel out of it for when I'm not treasure hunting or stuff. Or maybe I'll just post this stuff here. I have no idea. These days when it comes to YouTube stuff, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. How about some rock hounding? There might be some cool spots in your area for this. I'm kind of interested in that. It's tricky for around where I'm at. Like removing stuff from the waterways around here, you're actually not allowed to. So I'd have to find public property more so, and like areas where there's not restrictions. I mean, I'm kind of interested in that, but it's not like a main focus of mine. I did obviously enjoy going down to the amethyst mine in Georgia that I did a few videos on in the past. You know, finding amethyst and other semi-precious things. I really thought that was kind of cool. I guess around can get on some private property. It's probably better off looking for Native American artifacts. I live in a pretty good area for that. But I've just never gotten the permissions to do it. Like I don't end up on a lot of like, you know, farms that are plowed and stuff like that. But when I'm out treasure hunting, my eyes are peeled all the time. So if there's interesting minerals, Native American artifacts, I try to keep my eyes peeled. I found one that might be an arrowhead chipping just when I was up hiking through the woods that I showed you guys all over the summer. So, I mean, there's stuff out there everywhere. Currency collector, you know, I totally understand, you know. But yeah, I can understand. Yeah, the weather, that's one of those things too. Like I can feel the weather changes, a lot of people say. But yeah, hey, you know, life throws curveballs and you do the best you can to adapt. But of course, try not to focus on it too much so I'm not too much of a downer. Linda, basically there's I mean, it's kind of sad, but there's a I don't know if you'd call it a corporation or what, but around here, but it's called TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, and they maintain almost all the major waterways in the area over a pretty significant portion of the state. And you're not allowed to metal detect below on any TVA property, especially below the certain like water lines and stuff like that. You're not allowed to remove artifacts, anything. If there's like an arrowhead, you're not allowed to pick it up. You have to leave it there. It's illegal to remove anything from TVA property. So it's I don't want to get involved. There's no reason for me to walk the waterways. Like I would be doing, you know, a lot of the major waterways, like when the water's down really low, I would go out and do that stuff. But, you know, why would you if you're not allowed to take anything? So Tennessee's pretty bad when it comes to that things. There's a lot of regulation when it comes to the waterways, and which is unfortunate because a lot of things that happened over the years, I heard way back in the day, they used to let people metal detect and, you know, gold pan and all that different stuff, even though there's no significant gold like in Tennessee. It's just mostly fine gold. People used to, I'm sure metal detectors left holes, and also people, gold dredgers would do what's called high banking, and they would suck out the banks and it would cause erosion. So they basically got to a point, they just said nobody in the waterways for the most part, unless it's like, you know, recreational. So it is what it is. They just don't allow anybody to do any type of treasure hunting in the water anymore. So you can't use a dredge, you can't gold pan, you can't metal detect, you can't do any of that stuff. All right, Nick, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and it's good to see you here. Cassidy said, don't you kind of live close to the Chig? Closer than I used to, because I'm in the northeastern part of the state. I think he's up. I don't know exactly where he lives, but isn't Bo like kind of like north central Virginia? It's still quite a ways from here. Like, I don't know, 4-ish hours, 5. Maybe closer to 5 hours. So not like super close, but yeah, kind of close. No, Sandra, around here, you can't take stuff from the waterways, from rivers. When I say waterways, we're mostly talking rivers and stuff like that. Well, Linda, here's the thing, and it's different in different areas. Here's the thing. Now, I could understand if they said for Native American artifacts in a lot of other areas, like it's illegal to look for them as long as you, like, say, turn them into a museum or something. Because the thing is, like, if you see an arrowhead in perfect condition laying in the water and you're not allowed to take it, well, how does anybody know that it's not going to be destroyed? It would be better to like harvest the stuff and like donate them. You know what I mean? It's kind of all crazy, to be honest. But yet the way politics works, like in areas that are even have some historic significance, like developers get permission to just doze areas and put in like strip malls and stuff. And there's very little regulation that goes into it, or like people to stop them. And, money runs this world. Let's just put it that way. If you got enough money, you can wield just about anything to your advantage. Jim said, I lost track of your house projects. What are you currently working on? So I'll just briefly run through it. I'm living here, and this is my permanent residence, and I've just been working on fixing this up. My parents live in the farmhouse, and I still own the project house, the house that was in pretty bad shape. When I got my life back in order and I was doing a lot of stuff, and also I had really bad back problems, like kind of going into late last year, I put that whole project on hold, just kind of kept it mowed, but I didn't do anything to it. But I still own it, and I'm getting back into now getting brush cleared out, and I'm just going to do sort of like a lipstick on a pig remodel just to make it look a little bit nicer, decorate it really good. And I'm integrating a lot of the stuff from that house into where I live now. I've been making this kind of really cool project out of it. So I have sold off the property that I no longer own anything in Knoxville, where I lived for most of the time that I've been on the channel here. I own no properties there. I sold my rental property in Chattanooga and one of the places that I owned in Pennsylvania. So I pretty much own the properties in my immediate area here, and then I own one place in Pennsylvania that's a duplex. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I still own the other project house, the farmhouse, and where I'm living here. So everywhere that I've lived and or purchased since 2017, when I moved into this area, I still have it. I'm going to probably do a pretty big update video on that to kind of cue everyone into what's going on. And then eventually I'll probably do a tour of the house here. I've done a lot of cool stuff to it. So that's just in a nutshell answer there. TVA stands for Tennessee Valley Authority. There are benefits of living by multiple state borders. Like sales tax is less in Virginia, so I can go into Virginia very close to my house on larger purchases, have them, like if I get a big order from Lowe's for recently, it's like $800. I had to get a lot of lawn supplies, like a mower and different stuff. So I had it shipped to the Lowe's in Virginia and ended up paying like $40 less and then bring it all here. There's a lot of benefits to it. So with Tennessee Valley Authority, I go into Virginia and there's not as many laws governing certain things like that. So it's kind of weird. On the Tennessee-Virginia border, there's Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia. It's Bristol, but split into two states. There's the Bristol, Virginia side and the Bristol, Tennessee side. So on the Bristol, Tennessee side, it's kind of chill. On the Bristol, Virginia side, the Parks and Rec are a little bit more leery about metal detectorists, and you're supposed to have special permission if you're going to metal detect on public property. So like in the same city, I can do something on one half and not on the other half. So it's kind of interesting. And for example, like I would never personally want to move even a few miles down the road to the Virginia side, like, because then your income is taxed at like 5%. So I would pay thousands more dollars owning my own business by just moving a few miles north. So we live in a crazy world, but living by the border is kind of interesting. It's just, I guess it really opens your eyes the way politics works. Like in Virginia, they've been trying to take away people's rights to bear arms very heavily. But like, if your house is on this side of the street, it applies to you. And if it's on that side of the street, it doesn't. There's businesses that run through Bristol, Tennessee here, where the road is literally the state line. So on this side, the sales tax is Virginia side, it's like 5.3%. And on the Tennessee side is 9.25%. The sales taxes are higher because there's no income tax. So that they levy a higher tax on the sales tax. So there'll be the businesses on one side of the road are one state, and on the other side are another state. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, lipstick on a pig just basically means like taking something ugly and doing a cheap, putting just a cheap fix over top of it. So I guess it's kind of like a redneck thing. But yeah, I learned that from just being involved with it's kind of a remodel saying that's been around for a long time. Lipstick on a pig. It's no matter how much lipstick you put on it, it's still ugly. So it's kind of like that. All right. So I'm going to throw an idea out here now that I've been here. Ooh, come on, focus on me. Here, when I use something like this, it always works better. There we go. So I was thinking about doing something, and you guys can let me know if you like this idea or not. I've been kind of throwing it around. My channel has always, for the most part, been pretty lighthearted. And of course, I've hit a couple heavier topics, but I mean lighthearted in the sense where it's not like some, it's not like overly dramatic in the sense where it's like, it focuses more on, excitement and having fun. And if I touch on a heavier topic, that's not like the main focus. It's not like some political channel or just something like that. I've been thinking recently about doing a little bit of a series that is a little bit more drama based, but having my experience as a treasure hunter and a YouTuber is sort of a core theme of it, but in a way that I can unpack more about myself and my past and my experiences in life. I'm kind of at a point where I think I could do it the right way, know what to share and what not to share. And I thought it would be cool to kind of make a little bit of a drama about it. And then it would be like a nostalgia mixed in with like some serious stuff, but also how everything came together to make me who I am today through my YouTube journey. So let me know what you think about that. there would be some parts in it that like I want to share a few things that like normally I wouldn't. And I'm not saying like ridiculously overly personal things, like not that type of drama, not like everyone's problems type of drama, like the standard dramas that's out there, but more so as it relates to like YouTube, the ups and the downs, maybe talking about mistakes that I've made and how my my sort of business pursuits have shaped me, how you know, when other people have taken advantage of me, but starting it back with like kind of when my story began through this whole thing, and kind of like going back to where I grew up and where this whole treasure hunting process was birthed, and me branching out and getting into business and treasure hunting and like expanding my world far beyond I ever imagined. And I was thinking about making a multiple part drama on it, not like overly produced, but I've had this in my mind that like stories are kind of meant to be told, and I want to share it one step at a time and in a proper way, because I think there's a way that you can be relatable with people and honest, but not in a way where you're trying to either brag or make unnecessary drama and accuse other people of things that aren't necessary to bring up. But there's a lot of happenings in my life that I've kind of wanted to air out in like the whole process and bring people up to speed who have no idea what my channel is. And the fact that well over 1,000 videos now. And I think there's a linear story that gets lost. And I've been in a very reflective period in my life for about the past year. And I feel like it's something I want to do. And I'm not sure about it yet. I don't know if it's a direction that I should go, but I think it would also help me know where I want to head as far as like content too. It's almost like I want to, as I've gotten my life in order, it's almost like there's certain things like I just want to tell the story before I go into the next wave of like excitement. Cause I feel like it's just something I might want to do. I'm just kind of airing out there. I know that was very broad. I don't want to give very specifics. But it would be a little bit more of, it would be sort of like nostalgia mixed in with some, like I said, not forced drama, but just drama that has existed, to do with, you know, the ups and downs of life, people, business, YouTube, all sorts of things. Like I said, it would be done very tastefully, as tasteful as I can. Just an idea. Let me know what you think. But it would pretty much start with me kind of like going through and showing you guys like where I grew up. And I can show you in a photograph, photographs that are stored online through the sale of the house that I grew up in. I could show you where I found my first coin with the first metal detector I ever owned. And I want the story to kind of start there. I want it to start. It's not like going into my childhood, like, oh, here's me as a baby. Like, yeah, maybe I could break out some family photos and, you know, this was me as a teenager, you know, but I don't want to get too into that. It's not like it's not intended to be some like emotional autobiography or something like that, but maybe frame it as far as the birth of the treasure hunting in YouTube into my business life and how it all went together and all the changes over the years. So I'll look into the chat now. I know that was a little bit long-winded, but I wanted to try to explain it. Because part of this story would involve some accusations through my YouTube career. And if I want to do this documentary, not a documentary, but if I want to do this series, I'm going to actually confront. I'll just say I want to be very broad right now. I'm just going to confront that. So I have to be ready to put forth what I want to put forth in order just to air everything out. So, like I said, this would be a mix of a lot of things, the up and downs. And I have uh, over the years, I've learned how to package something and make it into like a consistent theme and market it. So it could be interesting to people, not just my viewers. So I would make it into like a little bit of part of a series, and I know what the framing will be to kind of make it a cohesive theme. And I would base the series off of actually my viral video that has over 20 million views. So basically how I went from nobody to making a significant, I said that I didn't mean it that way. How I went from like, just like you're just average, sort of blue collar worker to being very successful in the business world, and what all had to fall into place for that to happen, and showing that I've had major successes in my life, but I've also done incredibly stupid stuff because I tend to be a very trusting person, and I've been taken advantage of a lot in my life. But just to show how the one couldn't have existed without the other, that I've been sort of in a creative whirlwind, sort of bucking the system my entire life. So I wanted to frame it around the fact that I guess the hook of it, and then I would expand from there, is basically how I made a significant sum of money from one video and what all had to come into place for that to happen. It would be wild, but I have the theme in my head, and if I go down that route, I'm going to have to be committed to it, because it would be interesting, but I want to tell a story. And I guess maybe an overarching theme of it is that for many years now, there was a period of time that I got a little bit involved in the hype, and I lost track of where I was headed, and maybe to some extent who I was a little bit because of the excitement. It was a brief window of period of time, but I know when I got to the point where even if I was extremely successful in life, I always knew that I never wanted to be out of touch with anyone else, no matter what rung of society you're on, whether you consider yourself, whether you're super poor or you're rich. Like, I never wanted to lose that relatability, because I've seen the business world for what it is and how money runs this world. And I never wanted to be that person that just got so out of touch because of success that I could no longer truly relate to people. And I think it's very common in the day and age we live in. We see that all over the internet, that it's like there's a ton of people on YouTube, and there's a lot of great channels and great people and really great successful people, but there's also a lot of projection, and you can see people talking into a camera, and it's like hollow. They're not even talking to you. It's like their video is like strictly a product. And living in a society that's so self-absorbed in that narcissism, it's like I knew I never wanted to become that person, no matter how successful I was. I didn't want to flaunt my success. I didn't want to, and it's a fine line, because there's a way to market something on YouTube, and like show a project that you're excited about that's like expensive, but you're not like actually bragging. You're trying to make something very unique and creative and innovative about it and share it with everyone. But the goal isn't just the viral video. And it's easy to get suckered into that. It's like the goal is the viral video, and then you kind of lose that connection. If you do it the right way, you can make it more about the audience and the people, and then tie that in. So I'm kind of rambling now, but maybe you see where I'm going with it. It would be a drama that ties in YouTube in a business sense, with the treasure hunting in my past, and all of that entails. So my story would kind of start briefly just me as like a teenager, but it would mostly be me from my early 20s, from the early days of this YouTube channel up until now. And now I'm going to go into the chat. I know it was very long-winded, but I wanted to explain myself. Paul, I've thought about writing a book, but I don't think I could ever just sit down and do it. And I wouldn't want to go through publishing and that. I figured I have this medium to be able to present a story verbally, and do some slideshows and different things. And I think that would be the better way to do it, because then it would be more authentic. Because you know me, I wouldn't edit and cut a lot out. A lot of it would be raw. But I would have to frame very carefully each video so I don't ramble like I'm doing now. And each video would have a very specific theme, and it would stick to that, and then it would progress. Linda said, it could work, but be careful with that. Another channel I watched has switched into this, made up a drama story that I really don't get into this made up drama story. Well, yeah, I agree. Like I said, it would be a fine line, and everything would be 100%. It's not something I would make up. It would be all absolutely 100% true story. Jack said, life stories are always interesting, even more so for the people of the future reading past live stories. I agree. And with my channel kind of where it's at now, I'm kind of thankful that I don't feel like I'm locked into one thing. I mean, yeah, most people watch for my treasure hunting content. My treasure hunting content gets significantly more views. But just because of some of my viral coin videos, actually, even though I don't really post much coin related content anymore, because I stopped for the most part, the coin hunting live streams, I don't do that very often anymore. There's actually a large audience in the coin community, which is kind of funny how I got put in this position, because, I used to be a coin dealer. So it's kind of funny how I couldn't escape that. It's like I was almost sort of destined to be like a leader in the coin community or something. But it would tie together like that video with the treasure hunting, with me, who I am as a person. It would literally bring all of the themes of my channel like cohesive into one series. And I think it could be interesting. Part of me is nervous about doing it because I want to make sure it's done the right way, and it gets into like sharing stuff that most people wouldn't, as far as like, just business involvement and how much money you make from something, and like different stuff. Like some people are very open about it and other people just don't talk about it. But I agree. Like I think as long as I don't make it this long drawn out thing where it's not like where the channel's going and it's like going to be a year-long process, it would be a very specific thing, do it, and then get back into the treasure hunting. So it's not like a channel change. Like maybe say it's like in addition to. What's the alternative? Well, maybe me not making any videos at all and just waiting for the better treasure hunting content. So I would look at this more as like in addition to. And I think I can do it in a way that garnishes some interest, where I feel like I can build off of it. So kind of tell the story and leave it as like a cliffhanger of like where it's going into the future, and use that as a springboard for some of the future adventures. It's an idea, but it's something that's been really, I've really been thinking about lately. I've got the concept, like, in your mind when you have a good concept, and that's kind of like what I had. 2 of the viral videos that I posted on my channel, I sort of had it is very rare, even for a lot of creators, it's very rare, but there's sometimes when you have a moment that clicks and you're just like, that's it, I need to do that. And then it works. So, it just wasn't you got lucky or something like that. So I think this series is one of those things in my mind where it just like clicked. It clicked, and I'm like, that could work. Do I like astronomy? I think it's cool, but it's not something that I'm really into. I'm going to go back into the chat now. So a self-documentary, yes, it would be. It would be kind of like a little bit of an autobiography of my journey as a treasure hunter and on YouTube. So yes, and as a business person, which was a lot of the springboard that got me here. So yeah, it'd be kind of like an autobiography to some extent, or actually mostly. I mean, that's what it's going to be. Julie said, stop thinking so much, just do it. I like the attitude. If it doesn't work, then you'll know. I will certainly know if it doesn't work. JD, what is it that you do for a living again? I do a lot of stuff. I own multiple properties, so I've done the whole landlord, thing over the years. I am a dealer of numismatics. I mostly focus on kind of exotic paper monies. I sell a lot of, I'm kind of a dealer in the Zimbabwe banknote world. I have been for a very long time. I do YouTube. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. But my primary focus over the years has been my successful numismatics business, real estate, and YouTube. So I've locked into those three things mostly, but I've done all kinds of stuff. I've traded Bitcoin for a while. I've dabbled in a lot of stuff, but primary income, primary profession, I would say it's kind of like the three of those. Like a YouTuber, you could say, well, am I a professional treasure hunter? Maybe. Am I a coin channel? Maybe. Am I all of this? Maybe. So regardless of saying like I metal detect for a living, which wouldn't be true, I kind of encapsulate all that under being a YouTuber, because over the years I have tried to do well with the marketing, on YouTube, and try to treat it sometimes is like, let's say sometimes I've treated it more as a business, sometimes more as a hobby, but I've always wanted to just try to do my due diligence and giving my videos more of an opportunity to succeed. So I put that all under the banner of being a YouTuber. So whether you wanted to say I'm a professional treasure hunter or not, it doesn't really matter to me. So I pretty much say I'm a real estate investor, a YouTuber, and a numismatics dealer. JD, when buying coins from a dealer, do you see more sellers overvaluing coins in old banknotes, or are within reason? It really just depends on where you go. And I know that's kind of a very broad answer, but it's true. There's a lot of people that, will charge too much of a premium. And then there's a lot of local dealers that they really care about the local community, and they really look out for other people, and they wouldn't even let you overpay. They know they could get more money, but they'll take less because they want to try to be more honest. It's hard to say. Local businesses have more of a reason also to treat their customers right. Like anything, you have to be more careful when you buy online, because there's no connection there, and it's easy for a lot of online sellers to just not care at all and misrepresent something. But like anything, just do your own due diligence. Make sure you study the price as well, what something may or may not be worth. And I guess for almost everything in life, when it comes to that, I just tell people, just the best way to protect yourself is don't make impulse purchases. And that's the best way I could say it. Just don't make impulse purchases. Just make informed decisions. And if you make a mistake, you'll learn from it. Mudswat said, do you want a family of your own? Good question. Maybe I should intertwine all of this into the documentary. I call it that very loosely. It wouldn't be very well produced. It would be very basic. Maybe just a little bit of, not intense, but, you add a little bit of music. It makes everything a little bit better. A little nostalgia. So like, what would you call it, a budget documentary? Hey, Nancy. All right. So I'm not going to stay much longer. I've been sitting here too long. And it looks like, unless somebody else, I want to make sure I have this right. Lloyd Davidson sent us a $20 super chat. So I'm going to be getting off here fairly soon. And until then, if nobody sends a higher super chat, wow, it doesn't want to focus on there now. This slabbed MS67 ICG Ocean View nickel is going to go to Lloyd. I'm going to send it to the person with the highest super chat. So if nobody super chats higher than $20, that's going to go to Lloyd. Something new that I'm going to be doing on my live streams is I'm going to be giving something away on each stream, or at least I plan on that. I'll try to plan it ahead of time so I have something here that I can send out. Could you please give me some pointers on settings of my T2 limited in heavily infested iron areas? Here's a general rule for what I do for sensitivity. The Technetics T2 is an extremely sensitive detector, which is why it's really good for relic hunting. But in areas with very high concentration of nails, you will pick up those signals sometimes, even when you don't want to. That is because of the power of the machine. When I want to avoid iron and very small targets, for me, the best way to avoid iron and little junk targets is to set the sensitivity at 49. Or excuse me, not the sensitivity, the discrimination. Set the discrimination at 49. What 49 does, now for just removing out iron, you can set it a little bit lower if you want, if you don't want to miss any small relics or relics that maybe have a little bit more iron on them. Generally, I set the discrimination at 49. For example, if you take one of the foil pop tab inserts, the little circles that have a little bit of metal content in them, on the 48 setting, on the 49 setting, you won't pick it up. On 50, you will. So that's sort of like my barrier of you items that are bigger than that, a little bit more substantial than small foil, can be small gold, can be interesting relics. I don't want to discriminate that out at relic sites, but I want to make sure all the iron's gone and all the little tiny targets like little pieces of foil and things like that. So for me, my magic number on the discrimination is 49. If I'm at a historic site and I've found a ton of good stuff and I've dug a lot of holes and got a lot of good treasures, I always go through and dig out almost all of the trash anyway, except for straight iron. So after I hunt a site very well, I will go back over it again and turn my discrimination much lower than 9. And if I'm in an area where there's a ton of modern trash and I want to cherry pick, I will turn that discrimination right up to about where nickels start cutting out, because I still want to pick up nickel signals, but nothing else. So in that case, I'll turn it up to about 55, 56. My discrimination is almost never over 56. It's usually on 49. And then at very good sites where I want to dig out every little non-ferrous peep out of the ground, and including some of the iron, I'll set it down to more so around in the 30s or around 40. And then you can still tell big iron. Like if I want to dig bigger iron at a Civil War site, you run over a signal, you get an overload signal. You know it's iron, but it doesn't matter what your discrimination setting is because you can still pick out big iron from small iron. So for me, the magic number is 49. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher. I hope that was a helpful explanation for you of where I set my discrimination. That is the most important metric on the Technetics T2. The sensitivity you can just toy around with. My sensitivity is almost always between like 60 and max, sometimes in the 50s if I'm first going over a site. But the sensitivity, if you want to discriminate iron out, do not put your sensitivity, I would say, higher than like 85. If you have your sensitivity up into the 90s, your iron can start to sound like silver quarters and silver dimes and stuff like that. So if you want to avoid iron, make sure your sensitivity, I would say, is between 50 and 80, and make sure your discrimination is probably around 50. But yes, that will help you avoid most of the iron. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? Hey, Eric. Just keep it real, no scripted content. It wouldn't be overly produced, like scripted in a way of like I'm trying to manipulate people's emotions. No, it would be very raw. So no, it's not going to be scripted to a point where it's like that type of story. Like it's like I'm talking about somebody else. No, it'd be very raw, but it would just be very sectioned off into specific micro stories. But yeah, it'd be mostly just raw like this. It would have to be just a little more curated because I can't put out something like this and say something the wrong way And then I just have to make sure there's more precision in it. That's all. But it would still be very raw. So it's not like a live stream. There would have to be cuts and edits. Like if I'm talking about something, I'd have to say this portion. And then if I lose my train of thought, I'll have to cut it. So just not, I guess, more produced in a sense where there's no fluff. You don't have to watch a 30-minute video and try to pick through it. Because I don't want to waste anyone's time. Like when you come on a live stream, it's a hangout, right? When you come on a live stream, we're just going to be hanging out, and it's most people, if they don't have the time, they know nothing super important is going to happen. It's just basically to hang out and have fun. But the video, I'm just saying it's going to be more thought out. That's it. I have a 1918 national currency $1 banknote with the eagle on the back. Anxious to be getting it in January. That's awesome. Why You Trapped? It was kind of just a play on words for the title. The temperature plummeted here for the next 2 days. It's going to be freezing. We went from like the 50s to like 15 degrees, and we got 5 inches of snow out. So I did all my shopping and got back early yesterday, and I am probably not leaving my house until Sunday. Yeah. So I'm trapped for 3 days. A memo, get to know all the details, all JD secrets. Yeah, it's gonna be, see, this isn't gonna be just like some self-absorbed, reflective, all about me type thing. There's gonna be some useful information of it. I want there to be nuggets in there because some of it's gonna focus on YouTube. Anybody who's interested in growing a channel, I hope will learn from it, because I'm a sort of an analytics nerd and different things like that. So I'm gonna be explaining sort of the progression of my channel and why certain things have happened. It's going to be based around, like I said, the overarching thing that I'm going to use as the hook is going to be my viral video. And I'm going to masterfully try to tie it all into that concept. I've really had this idea building for a little while, but it's going to have informative stuff in it that people should be able to pick the nuggets out of there and be like, oh, okay, if I want to do better than just the average YouTube channel, I'm going to want to do this and do that and do the other. So I hope there's going to be some nuggets in there, whether it's talking about the YouTube end of it or the treasure hunting end of it, that people see the attitude and the philosophy that I've took on in certain areas, and they're going to say, okay, there's some information in there that I could replicate that. Like there's something I've been thinking about doing, but I've been afraid to. And, so I want it to be motivational too. Like that's the whole point of it. Like I don't want it to be drama for the sake of drama. Like I want the overarching theme to be like, through all the ups and downs, through the good decisions and bad decisions I've made, I'm very thankful that I have been able to be successful in my endeavors. And I want to use that as a springboard to like be sort of motivational in a sense. Thank you for stopping by, Linda. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. It was good to see you here. What is my peas recipe again, Mud Swat? Man, I haven't made it in a while, but just the peas that I was making was I have hot ground mustard, salt, pepper, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil mixed all in. It's delicious. Of course, hot mustard to your taste. I like it pretty hot. One of the things I started making with my mom, because she likes it too, because I like peas and they're great for you. It's protein. I haven't talked about it. She's having a lot of problems with her mouth. She had a lot of teeth removed months ago and ended up not being able to get partials because of allergic reactions and problems with pins in her jaw from when she was young. So she hasn't been able to eat very solid foods for the last several months. And so I've tried to help her out to find unique ways to eat protein instead of like just drinking protein shakes, like drinking homemade shakes all the time and adding, protein powders to it. So we started making a pea puree, and I thought it was a really good idea. Some people make it with lemon juice. So instead of like some people make avocado toast, we're getting like an emulsifier and blending the peas, straining it out. Like you can look online how to just do that. It's really simple. And so taking the emulsified peas, putting lemon juice and salt in it, and you can add pepper if you want to, but just lemon juice and salt in the pea puree, and then putting that on really crispy toast. It's really good. So that's like my newest pea recipe, is like a lemon juice pea puree with salt, of course, because you need salt on anything to enhance the flavor. And it's actually really good. And of course, most people use the pea purees under, with like a piece of salmon, or most people make pea purees with fish. That's what a lot of the professional chefs do. I'm not big into salmon. I don't care for salmon. I don't eat a lot of fish. I do like fish, but that's an elaborate dinner, and I'm not like into like the whole elaborate chef thing. But it sounds terrible. Pea toast, right? Who wants to eat pea toast? Maybe there's a video coming. JD's pea toast. Delicious, right? Aaron, I'll tell you what. I can eat salmon. It doesn't bother me, but I don't know. Certain fish, it's just like you taste it for the rest of the day. Like when I eat a piece of salmon, like I know I ate a piece of salmon. Like it's just one of those foods that stay with you. It's just like so potent. I don't know. It's like I've never been into like eating trout and that kind of stuff. Like for me, if I'm going to eat fish, I just want like a piece of breaded haddock, like macaroni and cheese or something, like the more comfort style fish. That's my kind of fish. Big, thick piece of white Alaskan haddock with a nice breading on it. That's my type of fish. I could eat that with just about anything. What about gold bullion? Do you dabble in that? I have over the years as an investor, keeping some pearls, but not as like trading in it. I don't really do anything with it now, but I bought some gold and silver over the years as an investment. It's sort of like, like a hedge type thing. So that's my involvement with it. But I have, like, when I was a coin dealer, I just sold small bullion stuff and like retail, involved in a retail sense. I don't do it anymore. Yeah, it's crazy, Aaron, how when you grow up, your tastes change and get more refined. Like I eat stuff now that I wouldn't have even dreamed of eating like 10 years ago. But I guess too, like a lot of it for me is I've learned over the years somewhat how to blend flavors and different stuff, and you realize like any food, almost well, let's not say any, almost any food can be made to taste good if you have the right mixtures and the right texture. Like for me, when it comes to food, the number one thing is texture. Like I hate anything that is like really mushy that resembles a mouthful of snails. So like for me, the only reason I can eat the pea puree is if you have it on a crispy piece of toast. Otherwise, it's kind of like I couldn't eat a bowl of this. Like split pea soup, not my thing. I'm not really big into soups. Like me, I love the taste of bananas. I like bananas in smoothies. It's like my go-to base for a smoothie. But I hate eating plain bananas. To me, it's like a mouthful of I don't know what, but it's just a hideous consistency. So for me, anything that's like slimy and or mushy, no, I can't do it. So if you can make any food have a good texture and be especially crunchy or have an interesting texture, then like I'm down. But you give me a bowl of mush, like even if I eat oatmeal, I can't eat a lot of it and I got to spice it up. I've got to have like chopped walnuts in it, and then I'll mix all kinds of other stuff in it and to like liven it up. I can't like just sit down and eat a plain bowl of like oatmeal or something. Drew, what is going on? Good to see you here. I was going to leave soon, but maybe I'll stick around for a little bit. Good to see you here. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. Do I love scallops? If they're made right, scallops are really good. Unfortunately, the frozen ones are generally just bad. But yeah, if you get fresh scallops and they're made the right way, I definitely like scallops. I'm not huge on seafood, as I pointed out with like not liking a lot of types of fish. But I like shrimp, I like scallops, and I like certain kinds of fish. That's about it. Like I normally wouldn't order seafood if I went to a restaurant, but made right, definitely love some good shrimp. Shrimp with like cocktail sauce. Scallops are good once in a great while. I haven't had them in a long time. But yeah, I like scallops. Drew, that's 10 inches of snow. Yeah. We got about 5 here. For everybody else just coming in, I'll show here real quick. It's snowing here right now. Winter Wonderland in Tennessee. Yep, same here, Drew. Until about 5 o'clock yesterday, maybe 6 o'clock. No snow here. It actually switched over from rain. If it would have gotten colder faster, we would have a lot more snow now, but it didn't go below freezing until about 6 o'clock yesterday. We went from, it rained most of the day, and then it turned to snow about 6 o'clock. So had all of that rain been snow, we would probably have we'd probably have the 10 inches that you have now if it didn't start as rain here, because it's a little bit warmer down here. Mudswat said, do you have any pets or want any pets? That could be in my future soon, especially because I got a fenced yard now, which is awesome. I didn't in the past because everybody knows, like in past years, I've been like really into the traveling and stuff and living by myself. I didn't want to neglect any pets. So it just made sense not to have any. But yes, I would like to have some pets in the future. Yeah, Jim, I do that. I didn't make that. That was here when I moved into this place. It hasn't been used for a long time, so I'd have to do some inspecting and tinkering with it. But I guess I could make some stuff out there if I wanted to. That's Drew. That's why you always wait to where you're going before the storm starts. I've been caught in some hairy situations when I used to live up in Pennsylvania, like you said, being in sticky situations. Yeah, I remember one time I almost got caught in a blizzard. I went to play volleyball somewhere that I shouldn't have gone that night, and I wasn't prepared if my car would have broke down. I hadn't showered. I was like, I had my coat on, but I was all sweaty. If I would have broke down and had to spend half the night in my car, I probably would have had hypothermia. You're lucky you get a white Christmas here in Oregon. I don't think it's ever snowed on Christmas that I remember. We have a lot of cold rain. If we do get any, it will be in January. Yeah, last year we almost had no snow here in Tennessee. The winter season was very just wet, but a little bit warmer and very drab because the snow brightens everything up. You can see here, I'm like glowing from my light, from like the light coming in this window here. But last year was a very cold, and I'm not cold, but a very damp and dreary winter. So I'm happy we got this big snowfall and it lightened everything up, but it's going to start melting on Sunday because we're going to go back up to about 50 degrees here. We did have some snowfall several weeks ago that came and left in like 3 days. So that was fun. So we've had some cool snowfall this year. And I'm happy. Makes me happy. Yeah, around here, like I said, since it's only going to be 2 days, I'm just hunkering in. I don't really have any reason to go anywhere, especially with the virus being very prevalent in my area right now, with Tennessee being one of the worst states. So I pulled my better vehicle in the garage so I don't have to clean it off. And I'm like, I'm just going to wait till Sunday when the temperature goes back up to 50 to go anywhere, because I have no reason to go sliding around on these roads. I don't know all the roads that have been treated around here. So I'm just hanging out here for Christmas. Yep, when you're in a warm house, doesn't matter how much snow is outside. But some people would argue I'm not in a warm house because I set my heat at like 64, and that's comfortable for me. It's warmer than out there. That's all I care about. Nancy said my water froze. Just got it back. Well, that's good, Nancy. So Drew, if you're just coming in, I'm sending this to whoever sends the highest super chat today. I figured I'd just show it to you. I had a bunch of like these slabbed coins like this that I got many, many years ago. So I'm going to try to give away something on every live stream. And ICG, MS67, Ocean View, nickel. And the highest super chat today was $20. So that's going to be going out to a subscriber on Monday. We will see here soon who it's going to be because I'm not going to be staying much longer. I think I said that 20 minutes ago. Awesome on the amazing find last week, Drew. A whole roll of silver dimes. That is awesome. That is awesome. I haven't been doing much treasure hunting or coin hunting lately, but I had a lot of fun on that last video I made out in the woods. I actually had a lot of fun with that. And definitely looking forward to going back out there and digging up the big signal. Who's looking forward to the big signal? Some people are saying it could be part of the old still. I don't know, but it's a large signal. I hope I can find some coins out there from the old illegal moonshining operation, which I'm at least at this point assuming that it was Prohibition era from what I've been finding. That's what the evidence is showing so far. I do know certainly that it's definitely not newer than the 1960s because it's on public property right now. That I think around 1970 is when it was open for public use. And I know it was gone before then, so I'm pretty sure it was Prohibition era. Yeah, Drew, that's how it is. Like if you ever get something good like that, you got to hurry. You're like, hey, can I get some more of those? That's how it is with the $50 boxes too. When I hit a really hot box, I'm calling the bank up. It's like, yeah, I need some more boxes. Mudswat said, I dug up a big signal, ended up being an old water tank. That's hilarious. I found my share of odd stuff over the years. One of the big signal farmhouse was down by the old, it was like a 1950-ish dump that I found. I found the iron, I found the chamber pot from the farmhouse. So if anybody doesn't know what a chamber pot is, back before the days of modern plumbing, you basically had a pot in your bedroom. So if you had to go, you didn't have to go crawling out into the outhouse with 5 inches of snow and 10 below zero. You could just take a tinkle in your chamber pot and then outside it would go. So I found the chamber pot, which I thought was, I do think it was pretty funny. I didn't know what it was when I dug it up, but I was enlightened by my wonderful viewers who seem to figure out everything that's happening when I'm out of the loop. It is a relic. It is a relic, the chamber pot. Doug said hillbilly bucket in Tennessee. Yep, I got myself a hillbilly bucket. I like that hillbilly bucket. That's hilarious. You should use the chamber pot. There you go. Bring it back to life. I mean, is it solid still? I can't remember if it's rusted through in some spots. You'd have some leakage. That's all I'm going to say. Now, the chamber pot is still outside. I know where it's at. I hid it under something because when I was digging out the dump, I put all the bits of pottery and glass and all kinds of random material. I put it in the pot, and I hid the pot. So I know where it's at. I can go get it. Maybe I will have to. I don't remember what shape it's in. I'd have to watch the video. Which video is it? I'm going to try to find that on my channel now. That was so long ago now. Goodness. I'm going to have to try and find that here real quick. And I'm going to go here and get in a shower soon. I knew by sitting by this window in the coldest room of the house where my computer is, even with my slippers on, my toes are starting to get cold. I think I did title that. I should be able to find it. I think I did title it Chamber Pot. Yeah. I titled Metal Detecting Deep Hole Found to Chamber Pot. This is funny. I'll turn the volume down here. I'm going to click on this real quick. Oh, that's weird. The way I have this hooked up, it's not even. Why don't I have audio on it? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I don't need audio. There it is. So if you need to watch the video, just type it on YouTube, Metal Detecting Chamber Pot, and it'll probably be the first video that pops up. I could almost guarantee I'm the only person that has that title. Thank you for linking to that, Mud Swat. I wasn't even thinking about that. I could have linked to it. Does it have a hole in the bottom? I'm looking now. Come on, flip it over. Yeah, it looks like it's on the bottom. It looks like it's a little bit rusted out. See, yeah, that thing's rough. And that dump there is really packed. They've been running farm equipment over that area for years. So that dump was like compact. The only two complete things I found there was little glass bottles. I found like one of the super old, I don't think, yeah, it was one of the really old Vicks Vapor Rubs, like a blue glass. And then I found a little Cheese Bro glass jar that was embossed that was really amazing. They're the little miniature jars with the screw lids that are from like around probably like the World War II era. And those are the only two complete things I found. Everything else in that area is busted glass, big pieces of iron, farm stuff, just really junky junk. So the only good things I found there were like the two complete bottles in that chamber pot. Everything else was just like iron and broken glass. But yeah, that thing looks like it's like straight up iron. It's pretty rough. Yes, my great nana were pots. Apparently that's what I heard that they really were. They were called chamber pots officially. And I'm sure everybody had called them something different, but I think the technical name for them was a chamber pot. Surprised chamber pots haven't made a comeback. That's funny. Yeah, at least we can still make it to the toilet. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Okay, I don't want to get too gross in this channel, but there are some people that use stuff like that. Has anybody ever watched? Okay, let's not talk about it. Let's just use some restraint and not go there today. Speaking of those drama documentaries, that's what my drama wouldn't be, like that kind of drama. Let's not say we did. Yeah, let's do that. J3B, what's going on? Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm out of drink here. I think the sun's coming out a little bit. It's 5 o'clock. Do I almost see a little bit of a pink hue? Are we going to actually get a sunset with snow? I don't have a good view of sunsets here, but my mom's no longer in the chat. I should have her look. They have a really good view of the sunsets up where they're at by the farmhouse. Yeah, there's a little color up there. There's a slight orange. I lose the sunset over the hill here about half hour before everyone else, but I can see a little bit of orange in the clouds. So it's going to be a really interesting view tonight we got all this snow and then we're going to have a sunset, pretty nice sunset. Oh, she's still here. Yeah, the snow just stopped here. It just kind of cleared out. It was literally snowing 10 minutes ago, but now all of a sudden it's like really bright, and I can see some slight pink hue up around the hills here. So I bet the sunset's really nice. My mom said it's a white out here now, plus snowing a lot more. Yeah, the weather patterns are really bizarre over here. You can have it snow, like precipitation 15 minutes away, and yeah, not like here. So I wonder if it's coming this way though. I have an old pottery chamber pot and pitcher from great-great-grandparents, never been used in the last 100 years. That's amazing. But yeah, my chamber pot's a cheaper one. It's just iron. It's definitely not porcelain or anything like that. Yes, J3B, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good too. I hope you all are having a wonderful Christmas. Lisa, I must be out of the loop here too. What happened in Chattanooga? I'll have to look into it when the stream's over here. JD, I have a short story I would like to share with you one day about a find at a swap meet. Entails a military diary from, I think did you mean World War II and paper currency and trying to locate living relatives? That sounds very interesting. I'm trying to read up some of the other comments I missed. Yeah, it's nice to have snow on Christmas, Drew. I'm glad we had it here too. Yep, Thundercloud, I just showed it. I'm not going to turn the camera around on the stream again, but we got like five to like probably, let me look at my chair here. Oh yeah, that's at least 5 inches. We might have 6. All right, so I'm going to leave here in about 5 minutes because I've been here a little bit too long. So this is going to be last call. Highest super chat of the day is $20 by Lloyd. Can't remember your last name. Sorry. I'll scroll up later. But that MS67 nickel. Let's see, focus in here. Man, that's really reflective how bright it is out there now. But that MS67 nickel from ICG, 2005P Ocean View. That's going to go to Lloyd if nobody sends a higher super chat than $20 in the next. I'm here 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm gonna be out of here for sure by 2:30. That's the plan. Something I'm going to be doing new on the channel now for when I stream, whether it's 15-minute stream or whether it's a multi-hour stream, I'm always going to try to send something out to somebody. I'm going to try to keep to that. That way I can at least give something back. All right. You got a 1/2 inch. Yeah, we got about 5 to 6 inches here. All right, Drew, I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. All right, see you, Aaron. Thanks for stopping by. I guess it's a good time. Everybody's popping out. So, yeah, it seems like it's slowing down here anyway. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Does it have full steps? Oh, you got me. It's not that type of Jefferson nickel. You actually got me to check. I don't know if that was if you meant to get me, but you got me on that. There's no Monticello on those. Duh. It has we'll say it has full it has full ocean lines. How's that? It has full waves. It's MS67 full waves. Full ripples. I figured it was a joke. You got me on that one because I'm thinking nickel. Oh, the steps. Yeah, you got me on that one. It's full waves. Greetings in Germany. Good to see you here. All right, let's see. I can't scroll up any farther here. I have a limit on how far I can scroll up. So I'm going to call it now. Lloyd, this is yours. I can't see your last name again because I can't scroll up the whole way. So reach out to me in the description, jdsvarietychannel@gmail.com with your information, and that is yours. And I really appreciate the $20 super chat. Your wife got you a military backpack to take to teching. That's awesome. Yes, yeah, I can see who it is in the super chat thing on the thing. I just can't look. I mean, I could look right now, but I don't like to do too much on the internet while I'm on the stream in case there would be some lag. But it's all good. I will get it out to Lloyd, and I'll be able to see his channel when I get off of the stream here. When am I going back into the woods to dig up that monster signal? As soon as all of this melts. Yep. Which it'll probably start to melt not too long from now because it's supposed to be 50 degrees on Sunday. All right. I'm heading out of here, guys. It's been fun. And I hope you all have an absolute full Christmas. And I'm out. Well, I'm almost out. I'm thinking after the little chat we had, I probably will do that content I was talking about. We'll see. But anyhow, it's been good. I'll catch you all later. And we'll have to think about, I'll have to name my bonsai plant. We'll have to come up with something. All right. I'll see you all later. Oh, yeah, I'm about clicking off. I see you there, Lloyd. Make sure you send me an email. Thank you again. See you all later.